Oh my god. So I don't know what happened, but this is what I'm dealing with logging in today. There is dead people everywhere. Literally, when I went to log in, I clicked on the YouTube account. It said 89 people. I get in, 50 of them are dead. Just blatantly dead. It's like I just dropped the plague of Egypt on them right as I enter the game, and they're all just blah, 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 blah. Look, all these dead people everywhere. Multiples of dead people. This is kind of ridiculous. So, being that as it may, we are going to back out of that, and we'll load her back up. That's crazy. Crazy. All right, how's it going, everybody? This is Army Two Willis, and as you saw earlier, we're on a fresh game because things got let's not even say a little out of hand, like just crazy. As always, if you're interested in Universim and you're curious what I'm playing with, check out the description down below. It has my exact specs. Well, not exact, but it tells you what components I have. And hopefully it tells you at what gigahertz I'm playing the processor, but it could not. And if that's the case, I'm playing at 4.11 gigahertz on the 1800X on an MSI B350 Tomahawk motherboard. We're using 16 gigs of RAM at 3000 megahertz. Core here, if you want to know particulars. And we're still using the GTX 980 because I just haven't replaced it. And let's see what these guys are doing down here now. Look like they're getting some trees cut to build their home. Let's prioritize the home because that's keen for their living situation. To me, it's keen. All right. In that exact order. Now we got 4 adults. Hopefully they finish that hut very soon. Let's get our angle going. You'll have water in a little bit. I can say in this latest update, I can tell there's been optimization improvements and some visual quality improvements because it looks a lot nicer. Maybe it's just been a while since season 1, you know, but it looks better. It runs smoother. Alright, normally I run on 3 times, but I'm taking it slow today because I want to get the opportunity to be able to talk to you guys about what exactly this game is. For those that haven't been paying attention or watching recently, for season 1, this is Universim. It's a game where you play the role of God, and you have your people, which are called nuggets, and you guide them. You guide them through life and the different eras of civilization. So they start in what is the dark or stone ages, the dark ages really, because they don't have anything, and you really start the game with them in the stone age, where you start establishing a community, a sense of belonging, and then you take them from that point to the point where they're in a modern age and they can explore multiple worlds. It kind of is like they start off heavily needing of you, and then they kind of like need you less and less as you go. But that's I would say that's for you to decide, because they do need you, and they do become a lot less self-dependent, which separates this from SimCity, because you're not micromanaging everything. A lot of things they can take care of on their own, or once you set up people for those particular jobs, like, oh, we need people to chop wood. You're not going to have people chop wood all the time. Once you set a job, they will chop wood. And once you start setting down storage, I don't know if they call them sheds, or let's find out. I don't think they're called sheds. I think they're called, I don't want to lie to you. What the deuce? A warehouse. That's what it's called. The warehouse. Once you set down the warehouse, you can set what warehouses. So you can have multiple, and you can set them in different locations. You can say, hey, I only want this warehouse to have food. I only want this warehouse to have wood. I only want this one to have stone. And you'll be able to upgrade them as you progress through the different areas and whatnot. Um, Other things, as you progress, you will get more finite materials, or maybe that's not the word we should use. More advanced materials, we could say. I don't even like advanced either. Let's say refined, because I feel that's a better word for it. The material is more refined. Instead of just taking wood as it is, you would shape wood and make lumber and other refined materials out of it. Instead of just taking base stone, you would cook the stone to make, pitch and mortar, bricks, concrete, etc., and keep advancing your products until you have, I guess, the end game, advanced material. As for multiplayer, I know that's a thing they talked about, but being that I haven't been deep into the forums as of late, that's something I'll save for another episode after I do some rereading, see if anything's changed. You will definitely be allowed to leave the planet. So once you get far enough where you either used up your resources or you feel comfortable that your people are self-substantial enough on that planet, you will be able to travel them to other planets to advance your nugget civilization. I like the concept. I like the control as a god you get. You do get a lot of control. Uh, God powers. You have a lot of them. You got wrath powers. You can set fires, make it rain, windstorms, tornadoes. You've got what do they call this guy? Influence. Make them happy. Make them faster. Make them fall in love. Pick them up and move them. The healing, which I hope under protection we get more options like prevent illness or something besides just healing. That would be nice to add. Creation, we don't have anything under creation yet, but I sense it's something bound to happen in time. All right, now it's starting to pick up, so it sidetracked me a little, and for that I'll automatically start with an apology because it picks up pretty quick in this game. All right, we'll put that there. I'll let them build. Let's see if there's anything else that we kind of need. Eventually, I'm gonna put some reservoirs in, but I don't want to bog them down with too many things to do. So we'll save the reservoir for another time. Buildings. We want a engineer hut because I don't want to be the one stuck repairing all this stuff all the time. So we'll do that, and then I'll just kind of leave them to it for the time being and go back to talking to you guys about all the stuff in the game. Since I'm on this page, I'll talk to you guys about it, give you guys an idea. This is your research. You choose to research, but in a game sense, it's like you're influencing them on what they should research. You kind of give them the inspiration, the ideas as a community when they come together and say, I have an idea to, maybe we should do this to improve our lives here, etc., etc. Throughout, it is time-based. I mean, you can speed up time, but it's not really going to change the research. And I think the reason they do it that way is to allow you enough time to plan and coordinate exactly what it is you want to do. Your research is going to change. Like this cog output, in 5 minutes, it could very well not be there. And that opportunity to get that could be gone. And I would have to choose, is finishing the camel upgrade better than having the round cogs? Round cogs gives me more pump power output. It makes all of the pumps I make. And if you saw, when I position myself between these 3 lakes just so I can have close access of water. They do get busy, nuggets. They will reproduce like crazy. and they would kind of take that Adam and Eve effect. You would start with 2 nuggets and 2 kids, and I don't know where they come from, but like biblical magic, more people show up, and the kids marry other kids, and then you have more people, more families, la di da da. Like always, I'm probably gonna name my first 2 nugget families the Johnsons and the McDaggles. From there, I leave it to the people that watch my stream to choose whatever should the names be of whatever characters from that point on. Every once in a while, I'll probably name them just so I can get an idea of who's who. But as I was saying, you influence them. Once you unlock those influences, it gives you the buildings to place, and you can kind of strategically place them. The one thing I can say is housing. They will always place their houses wherever they choose to place their houses. You have no control over that. Roads. They will build their roads wherever they want to build their roads. That's another thing you have no control over. But the cool thing with both is they will advance their roads as you advance through eras. Same thing with housing, but I believe you offer the ability for them to upgrade it. I don't think it's self-chosen. Send her to go get food so we can start stocking our supply. We're currently using, this is a good chance for me to go down here and show you what you've got here on your HUD. Now, this tells you what your wind is like, the water supply, and your resources on the planet. So this is going to let you know what everything's like. Water's like, winds a lot, and resources are a little under half. Which I see that change because it used to be like full everything and then you gradually go down. So I like the difference. Creates variety. More importantly than that, electricity, which is a new thing in the game. You could generate electricity, and based on your community as you go, they will have certain needs for electricity, certain needs for water, and certain needs for food. So you'll have to try to, best you can, meet those needs. I think she just took out a turtle. And she's an animal. Right now, as you can see, I have 26 food. It's raw food. It's not cooked for my community. And they actually are consuming because this would be raw food and cooked food. This is how much actual water and how much water I'm actually using in my community. And then power will be the same way. It'll be how much power you generate and how much you consume. Try to keep the markets close. In a few seconds, we will have the camel ability, which makes them drink water a lot less often, which is a good thing to have. If you can get anything, the best people to have, in my personal opinion, is the people that are immune to disease. The people that are immune to disease and the people that are fast workers are the 2 best things, in my personal opinion, in this game to have. There's nothing better than those 2 things. I want the pump output because I want to boost it because I only have 1 pump. Currently using 12 water with the few buildings that I built, and I'm sure that fishing building is probably going to use some water too. My population, as you see up here in the top right, is actually growing. We don't have any children at the moment, but we have 5 adults, and from what it appears, just 2 families for now. One of the best things to get started on the minute you get an opportunity is building a school. Best things you can have. Like, hands down, the school. Make your nuggets smarter, which makes them more proficient at advanced jobs like mines, stone working, woodworking. They handle doing these jobs pretty well in general, but they're not what's the word? They're not very efficient at it. You get the courier service. That's another thing. I'm kind of like all over the place because there's so much to this game that leaves a lot. One of the best things, the courier service, you can quickly move things like materials, food, medicine from one area to another area. So if you have an area where they gather this stuff quickly, you don't want them to, as your city expands, to be way out in the forest and have to hand walk that stuff all the way back to whatever warehouse you built that needs the material close by. You could just build something near where they're getting the resources and then have the courier service deliver it from point A to point B to refill those stock supplies. That way your guys can chop more wood efficiently. There are negative traits like lazy and gluttonous and stuff like that where they'll kind of hinder you. It's all part of the strategy. Like, at first you might be like, I kind of need those people. And then as you go, you might be like, I can get rid of those traits. I don't want them marrying nobody because I don't want to keep that kind of person around. I've had somebody that was gluttonous and hardworking before, which is odd to say the least, but he's like, I want to get rid of him because he eats too much, but at the same time, he works hard, so he kind of deserves to eat a lot, But it is what it is. I haven't done anything with whale hunting yet. That'll be cool when I get to that point, but I'm kind of trying to take a different approach. I usually build the fishing hut and never really do anything with it. But this time I want to make use of our nuggets. So we're close to getting a new set of basic researches. That's another thing I haven't talked to you guys about. So blue research is your basic stuff. And that's going to be over here. That's usually going to have a pretty short timer. The green, orange, and purple are your, what's the word to use? Your special or advanced perks. You're most likely not going to get them all because they have certain times when they pop up and you can miss them. Like you saw, I missed the cogwheel that was over here earlier that I didn't get. The whale water is still here, but I'm sure whale water and fishing gut advancement are both going to disappear by the time this one's finished or this is finished itself. Usually, I believe, if I have this right, the purples take the longest to unlock, but they usually offer the best benefits, and they go from there. Oh, weather. As I jump topics again. Weather is dynamic in this game. It could be winter, it goes through all 4 seasons. It can rain, it'll snow, you can run through fall and summer. Tornadoes can show up at random, a forest fire, anything. Really anything. You'll see the lakes where the fisher is freeze over as we get closer and closer to winter. As you see, there's starting to be some snow here on the ground. Everything won't be buildable in your little cul-de-sac. Like, you're not just gonna just throw. You could throw a lumber place down, and you probably have to travel if you wanted to. But if you really want to get stone and stuff, you'll have to go find a location that heavily produces some stone, and you'll know because it'll look a little different. Like, it'll look something like this area over here. You'll see like this little pebble spot, and it means to produce some pretty good stone over here. But there are creatures that can attack you, and I believe with the latest update, you can have people that leave your village and start their own, and they can attack you. So war is a thing that exists in this game now. It's not built around war, but it is something that can happen. What am I leaving out that also exists in this game? There's really a lot to it. And the way it's set up, I like it. I like that it's fun, kid-friendly. Just offers a lot that I feel like a lot of other RTS and even simulation games don't really offer. And then the scale of the beauty is awesome as well. Like, you literally have this entire planet to go and do whatever it is you want to do to your heart's content. And as you see, it's beautiful. Beautiful game. I'll show you just to give you an idea of what it's like. But they'll build a little faster. They'll get a little faster. Research, not really. Okay, so round cogs is back. The well refill rate is back. Nugget might is a thing. So I definitely want that. That's important. And we see round cogs came back. I'm going to just take it the chance and say that your opportunities to get this stuff is quite often. You see how the purple's 16 minutes to learn. Meanwhile, the 8 for pump efficiency is half of that time. And then I think the green ones are like 6 minutes or 5 minutes or something. They're even shorter. The blues are always going to be your shortest, but they're going to be your research that you get guaranteed, and you'll be able to queue it. You can't queue this stuff. It's kind of grab it as you see it, but it is what it is. There's nothing to be too upset about. I brought my food supply up with my 2 food buildings, with my hunting shack, wherever that is. So here it is. My hunting shack with Elu and this food place. So let's get another old nugget. Let's get Yumshia at the eatery, so we can start producing some better food, so our food supply lasts a little longer. And then we'll get you as an engineer so you can keep these buildings up to par, because we're starting to get a lot of buildings. And I don't want to be stuck doing all the work of fixing them. So now we're coming up on the end of the self-defense, which is going to unlock the watchtower, I believe. Yep. So now we have the watchtower unlocked. We're going to shoot for the next things. I say an ancient burial site, the healing place, and we'll finish it out with recreation to create a little happiness in our area. What those things are going to do is going to allow us to have somewhere to bury our people, because that's kind of important. As of right now, I don't feel like a watchtower is something we really need. We don't really have any enemies. As you see here, as our population increases, we've got a third house, a third family we're gonna go ahead and name this group the fries. They do give little indications, like they'll tell you if they're injured or if they're tired and stuff like that. Kids are kind of idiots. They kind of just wonder about doing whatever until you get a school to educate them. The Nuggets are kind of idiots too, to be completely honest. Like, they'll do haphazardly dumb things. But I guess in a way you could say they're kind of like us people. We do stuff that's pretty dumb. So we're changing seasons again. You can't really predict how long you got until for seasons until you unlock. Where is it? The forecast tower, which is going to tell you when there's dangerous storms heading your way. It's going to give you an idea of how long you have in between seasons, so you can predict your crop rotations, etc., etc. We only got 2 laborers, so we're not gonna dump anybody else on hunting until we get our population up. We got 4 kids, so we'll be shooting for 10s really soon here. Got about a minute and a half left on the elbow grease, which should make building go a little faster. So we have the Fries, the McDaggles, and the Johnsons. Oh, water pumps. You want to have an idea? Water is a finite source. It is not infinite. You can see here that I'm producing 45 water and I'm using 22 off this one pump. There's 8.7 million gallons of water. 8.75 million gallons of water in this lake. It's not a lot. It means it's not going to last forever. So I wouldn't want to add too many more pumps to that spot because it would just drain that faster. That's the reason why I picked this location to begin with, because I want to hit multiple lakes at the same time, large lakes, so we can mitigate this water source. In fact, now that we are starting to get our population up, I think I'm gonna go ahead and task my crew, who don't really have anything to do, with producing always do 3, because I feel like 3 will hold you down for a long time. And soon, while you really don't have anything to build in the beginning, I feel like that's the smarter option to do. You build 3 reservoirs for water. They hold about, if I remember correctly, I think 10,000 water each. We'll find out in a second here. And they do go up once you advance in your age and tiers and stuff. But I believe in the beginning they hold 10,000 water each. And if something were to happen to the 3 pumps producing 45 water, that'll hold you until you're able to fix whatever issues you have. We are now at 10 adults in our tribe. We have a lot of cooked food. Now, a very important thing's coming up. We're about to unlock, and literally less than 30 seconds here, the burial, which I'm gonna have to put out here in the sandy reaches because I don't want it to be too close to where all my villagers are living, because it has an increased chance for them to get disease. The plus side is it allows you to have somewhere to bury your people, which is a good thing all on its own. So, you know. So we're gonna get that cemetery over there because I don't want it near my people. I'll probably put a farm somewhere around here because you want farms to contain different. So you'll want like a mountain farm, a desert farm, a grass farm, because there's gonna be different foods, different medical herbs and stuff you can get from having them in different locations. So that's gonna be important. I don't think having too many farms is key. I think having a variety of different sources that generate food is kind of the way to go. Initially, there used to only be fishing and farming, so you kind of had to add more between the two initially when this game came out. But they've been pretty consistent with the updates, and it didn't last too long. I think either the next update or within the next 3 updates, there was more ways to gain your food source. As you see, they're following the shoreline for all my buildings and stuff, which I like. I think that's good. They're making use of things. They're building the first reservoir. Let's use a god power. Let's speed some guys up. So we're gonna go ahead and speed those guys up because we want our people to get stuff going. Just to make use of some god powers. As you see, the nuggets that I touch with the god powers, they're moving. They move pretty fast. So what do we want now? We want, resistance to disease. I don't care what you're doing. I personally think if you get nuggets that have resistance to disease and you get all the disease bonuses you can, you don't have to worry about where you put a cemetery. But they're not immune. They're just more resistant, which is better than nothing. But you can get immunities. You can get people that are immune. You can get people that are fast. You can get people that are hardworking, people that are lazy, that eat too much. You can get people that are loners, people that don't like working with other people or don't want to be around other people. You can get people that don't want to be in love. You can get, I would like to say, a nice variety of people. You see I'm sitting in a cloud, so it fogs up my screen. And because it's probably a rain cloud, that's probably the reason I have some precipitation here. I like that there's cool stuff like that. Like their rocks will hit your screen if you're in a storm while you're watching them and stuff. It's pretty cool. I have it up now. That's why I have the door open. Salad? I mean, whichever one you want to make. I mean, ranch Caesar. I mean, when you make Caesar, it was just lettuce and stuff. It wasn't no like tomatoes or nothing in there, right? Okay, then that's fine. You don't have to make anything extra for me. I'll eat what you make. All right. Let's see. I think we have some new things unlocked. Oh, we have hospitals now. So that's important. Where is... Okay, going back up here because we were talking about this earlier and I got sidetracked and I apologize, but my wife came in. She had some questions for me. So, the water, as I did state, it is 10,000 per, and it keeps track of the heat. Like if it gets too hot, it will boil over. If it gets too cold, it will freeze, and that'll be just like one less thing you have to use. Like I said, that's the three of them together sits as at 30,000 water, which I think at that point is more than enough water. But once we get more people, I'll shoot for the next thing after that. 2 pumps and the reservoirs should be enough until we get higher on the population. Yeah, let's prioritize both huts because I want them to have those done and over with. You're a 17-year-old laborer. Let's not have that. So I'm sure all of these are probably bugged. We know YouTube is bugged. And we'll have YouTubes. Just so we got to progress, just in case anything happens, you know. I don't think I've ever seen this game in particular crash with the AMD Ryzen, but support for Ryzen's become more widely adopted, and games have handled it better. So yes, they are in the process of finishing this hut. That's going to be for you guys. I'm not going to name those 2 huts. If I do, I'll probably put Ubu 2, just so we know that that's Ubu 2, and this one, when it finishes, will be Ubu 1. And the first 2 people I see with comments are going to be the people that I allow to name whatever they want to name that. We can allow them to carry more, which I think first is more important, and that's 16 minutes. So green is high, just like purple. I was wrong. It takes a long time for green. But divine punishment is something you definitely want because it increases your chances of having twins by 50%, which means your population will grow substantially. What's your chances of having twins prior to that? Probably like a 1%. So you're like a 51% chance that you're going to have twins. Here goes a chance to actually utilize some good god powers. This person, like the idiot they are, injured themselves. And now they're healed. The more you do for your people and your civilization, they will turn this spot here into a... Actually, I think... Is it this one? No. Yep, it's here. They'll turn this into a shrine to worship you. If you're a not very nice leader, your shrine will be very dark. We'll just call it that. It'll be a dark shrine. Alright, we're on to our next set of things. We can get a farm. We will do a warehouse, because I feel that's important. We will do a farm for more food. The Ducas and the refined materials last. The reason I'm going to do it in that order is because it'll give us some time between when we put the warehouses down to start stockpiling materials. Actually, I feel like that was a waste of materials. That's not what I wanted to put there. Do that. We do have a hospital. I don't think I put anybody in the actual hospital. Let's do that. And they have not finished the cemetery, which I would recommend they finish, because we have some people that are kind of old. Oh, look at that. We got people that are like 29. At most, they probably got 11 more years, and they're going to kick the bucket. So the cemetery is like priority one. Kind of needs to get finished. It's got materials. They just literally haven't started the construction. It'll get there. You see, we jumped from like a 12 to a 34 on the water scale, how much we use. I'll let you guys see that there. It tells us that this progress bar displays the current amount of water being generated by all your water pumps and the current water usage of your civilization. In this instance, 300 units of water are being generated and 600 units are being consumed. It means that you need to build more pumps and try to maintain a constant output that is the same or higher than your use. So they're saying that you produce 300, but you're using 600, so you need to produce more. For me personally, I am producing 90 and using 37. So I have 53 water up for grabs, roughly, that I'm not doing anything with. I'm excited about the storage areas, because I feel like the storage areas themselves are the most important thing in this game. They really kind of like get you ready for the next tier. As soon as you get those, as soon as we get this, the refined materials, we're moving out of the tier we're in, and we're moving up towards the next tier. So that those resources really get you there. Anyway, this is Army 2 Willis for episode 1, and I will catch you guys in episode 2. Army 2 Willis, out.